The water pulled back at noon. Carthago Nova had never fallen. It fell. Scipio was standing in the middle of it. He did not look like a man who had just won. This is Roman nights. We go back. We listen. We stay a while. 3 months earlier. He is 24 years old. The Senate laughed when he stood up. He went to Hispania anyway. The road south smells of dust and old defeat. Chapter 1. The Forum Before the Laughter. 216 BC. That is where it starts. Not in Hispania. Not in the Forum. In a field in southern Italy, on the worst afternoon in Rome's memory. Scipio is 18 years old. He stands at the edge of the Cannae battlefield. He is looking for his unit. He has been looking for an hour. Most of his unit is not standing anymore. The field smells of iron and heat. August in southern Italy is a dry, still kind of hot. It sits on the skin. It does not move. The flies have already arrived. They cover things that a few hours ago were men he knew by name. He knows some of them by voice. He knew which ones snored. He knew which ones cheated at dice and which ones cheated carefully enough that no one said anything. He knew which ones sent money home to the hill towns south of Rome. Who had wives. Who had children. Who had neither and did not talk about it. He counts them now. It is something to do with his hands. The counting does not end. The afternoon light is flat and without mercy. It falls on the field without choosing what it falls on. It falls on the Roman dead and the Carthaginian wounded and the ravens working between them. The ravens do not hurry. They have made a calculation. There is no reason to hurry. Scipio watches them for a moment. He looks away. The scale of it is the thing he cannot fit into his head. He has seen battle before. The Ticinus, the year before, when he was 17 and his father went down and he rode back in. That was a cavalry skirmish. He knew what a skirmish looked like from the outside. He thought he knew what battle looked like. He did not. This is not battle. This is something that has a different name and no one has found the right word for it yet. 70,000. That is the number they will agree on later. 70,000 Roman soldiers dead in a single afternoon. Between two low hills in Apulia. On a field nobody had a reason to care about before today. The field will smell this way until the first cold rain. The rain will not come until October. It is August now. Hannibal did this. He planned it for weeks. He executed it before noon. He was gone before dark. He is in his camp somewhere south of this field. His officers. His maps. Rome has no answer for him. Rome has had no answer for him for 2 years. He will be in Italy for 14 years before anyone finds a way to make him leave. Scipio does not know that yet. He is 18 years old. He is walking through the dead. The ravens have made their decision. He is making his. He does not say it aloud. He does not say it to himself in words. But something closes in him on this field in this heat with this smell. Something that was open before this afternoon closes now and will not open again. 6 years pass. The boy becomes something else. Not all at once. It happens the way most things happen. One day at a time. In small rooms. In conversations that do not seem important while they are happening. He reads. He practices with the cavalry. He watches officers older than him make decisions and notes which decisions hold and which ones do not, and why. He is not yet 20. He has nothing to command. He commands himself, which is the only practice that matters. He thinks about Cannae. Not about surviving it. Survival was not the impressive part. Thousands survived Cannae. He thinks about what Hannibal knew that the consul did not. The consul saw an army across a field. Hannibal saw a field and then thought about what the field would look like in 3 hours. He thought about where the cavalry would go and what the infantry would do when the cavalry was gone. He thought about what a man does when he is surrounded and there is nowhere to go. He thought about all of this in advance, while the consul was still thinking about the army across the field. That is what Scipio takes from Cannae. Not defeat. Not grief. The lesson. He studies it for 6 years. He finds men who were in different parts of the field that day. He asks them what they saw. Not what they heard afterward. What they saw with their own eyes. He asks about the ground. The sun direction. The wind. The time between when the flanks broke and when the cavalry came around. He asks about the sound inside the formation when it became clear there was nowhere to go. He pieces together the battle the way a man pieces together a structure he has to build again somewhere else. Hannibal knew the ground before he stood on it. He knew where the cavalry would go. He had thought through what cavalry does on flat ground between two armies. He knew where the center would push. He had arranged it so the center would push. The center pushing was the trap. He knew what men do when they are surrounded and tired. When the formation they trusted is no longer a formation. He knew all of it before any of it happened. This is what Scipio has been thinking about for 6 years. Not the defeat. The architecture of the knowing. The way a man can see 3 hours ahead. And arrange the ground so that the thing he sees is the thing that happens. He does not know if he can do this. He does not know if it is a skill. Or a kind of sight you are either born with or not. He suspects it is a skill. He has been practicing it for 6 years in every action he has been part of. He sees the ground before the action and he thinks forward 3 hours. He is sometimes right about what he sees. He is sometimes not. He thinks he is getting better. He thinks about the Ticinus the year before Cannae. He was 17. His father commanded the cavalry. The Roman cavalry met the Carthaginian cavalry on the north bank of the river. It was not a battle. It was a collision. The Roman cavalry broke. His father went down. He rode back in. Not from courage. Later, when people said courage, he did not know how to explain that it was not courage. It was simpler than courage. His father was down. He rode toward his father. There was no calculation between the fact and the action. He went. He got his father out. The action was cited in the Senate. There was a citation written down. He did not think about the citation. He thought about his father's face when they were clear of the cavalry and riding south. His father did not say anything. He looked at his son and he did not say anything, and that was its own kind of sentence. His father went back to Hispania the following year. Hispania killed him. Scipio is 24 years old and he is going to Hispania. He has thought about this enough times that it is not interesting anymore. The thought arrives and he moves past it. The only question worth asking is what he is going to do that his father did not do. The answer requires Hispania. So Hispania is where he is going. And Hispania is a step. He knows what comes after Hispania. He has known since Cannae, if not in the specific form it has taken now. He knew there was something after Hispania. The specific form came later, reading about Regulus. Reading about the First Punic War. What Rome attempted. Why it failed. What a different version might look like with different resources and a different general. Africa. He has been thinking about Africa since he was 18. Standing in a field full of dead men. While the ravens worked. Not yet. Hispania first. The road is waiting. He has seen it before in his head, every night for 3 weeks. 210 BC. January. Rome. The forum before the morning crowd arrives smells of cold stone and the river. The Tiber is low in January. The mud at its banks has frozen. The surface has a thin white crust. It will not survive the sun. The torches near the temple of Saturn are out. A dog crosses the square from one shadow to another. There are no other sounds. This is the hour before the forum belongs to anyone. Scipio walks through it alone. He has slept 4 hours. He has been awake since before the city started. This is a habit and he has stopped trying to explain it. There are men who cannot sleep before a difficult day. He is the other kind. He sleeps before difficult days and lies awake on the ordinary ones. The night before a decision he sleeps deeply. He does not know if this is confidence or simply how he is made. He has stopped trying to decide. He knows what he will do this morning. He has known for 3 weeks. He has told no one. Not Laelius. Not his mother. Not the 2 cousins on the Esquiline who would have opinions, and he does not need opinions. He has been holding this plan the way you hold something. Either right or entirely wrong. The only way to find out is to do it. The cold is the kind that has been here since before dark. Not sharp. Just settled. It has moved into the stone and the stone holds it. The Via Sacra is empty. The temple of Castor rises against a sky that is beginning very slowly to become less dark. He stops. A man is sitting on the bottom step of the temple. The wrong kind of thin. Not the thin of a man who runs or does not eat much by choice. The thin that builds over years of not quite enough. His cloak is worn at the edges. The kind of worn that comes from long use, not poverty. He is not watching the forum. He is looking at his hands in his lap. Both hands turned upward. As if he is weighing something he cannot put down. Scipio sees the unit mark on the man's belt. Cannae. 2nd Legion. He knows the 2nd Legion. He was not in it. He was in the cavalry. The right flank. The flank destroyed in the first 10 minutes. The 2nd Legion was in the center. The center held longer. It held long enough for 70,000 men to die in what they called a formation. The man on the steps survived the center. Whatever came after the center, he survived that too. He is sitting on the steps of the Temple of Castor. Cold and dark. Looking at his hands. Expecting nothing from the morning. Scipio sits down next to him. The stone is cold through his clothes. He settles into it. The man does not look up. He does not react at all. He has been sitting here long enough that new things are not interesting to him. They sit. The forum makes its first sounds. Iron on stone somewhere on the Via Sacra. A cart turning a corner too fast, the driver's voice carrying and then not. A mule, low and continuous, saying what it says about working before dawn. Scipio does not know how long he sits. Not long. 3 minutes. 4. The kind of time that is longer than it sounds. He stands. He says nothing. He walks toward the curia. It is a small thing. Most men would not have stopped. Most men in his position would not have seen the belt mark. Or seen it and kept walking. Or seen it and thought about something else. He has always stopped. He is not entirely sure why. He thinks it has something to do with the counting. On the field at Cannae he counted because it was something to do with his hands. Here he stops because the man has been counted once. On that field. Put in the column of survivors. Nobody counted again. He is not sure that is the reason. He stops. That is all he knows. The Senate of Rome has a problem in January of 210 BC. It has had this problem since 211 BC, and it has made very little progress on it. Hispania needs a commander. The last one is dead. The one before that is also dead. They were brothers, Publius and Gnaeus Scipio. They died within a month of each other in different parts of Hispania for different reasons. The province now has 20,000 Roman soldiers. It has no one to give them orders. The Senate has been asking for volunteers for 8 weeks. The senior senators do not want Hispania. Their reasons are not small. The last 2 commanders were experienced men with good records, and Hispania killed them anyway. The junior senators do not want it either. No one who has seen what the province costs wants to pay it again. No one who has not seen it is being offered it. No one volunteers. The curia smells of old wood and too many men in a closed space. The benches are worn smooth in the places where generations of senators have rested their arms while deciding the world. The light comes in through the high windows. It falls at an angle that has not changed since this building was built. The same light fell on the same benches when they decided to send the 2 Scipio brothers to Hispania. The session opens in the 3rd week of January. The presiding consul asks the question again. He asks it with the voice of a man who has stopped expecting an answer. The chamber is quiet with the practiced care of men who have made a decision to be quiet. This is not the quiet of men with nothing to say. It is the quiet of men who have decided not to say it. The difference is visible. In one case men look around. In the other they look down. Or at the wall. Or at each other in a way that means, you first. They both know neither of them will. No one moves. The consul waits. He has learned to wait in these sessions. He has learned that waiting is not the same as patience. Patience expects something. Waiting has given up on expecting. Then Publius Cornelius Scipio stands up. The room notices. The room notices. He is young. His family name is on everyone's mind. This is the wrong moment for either of those things. He is 24 years old. His father died in Hispania the year before. His uncle died in Hispania the same season. He has never commanded a province. He has never held a senior posting. His military record is a cavalry action at the Ticinus River when he was 17. And several years of service no one in this room has asked about. The Senate laughs. It is not a cruel laugh. It is the laugh of men who know what Hispania costs, who understand the distance between what a 24-year-old is offering and what the province actually requires. They are not laughing at his family. They respect his family. They are laughing at the problem. The problem is that he does not appear to understand the problem. There is also relief in it. Someone has broken the silence. Even if this is not the answer, someone has broken the silence. The breaking is worth something to men who have sat in that silence for 8 weeks. Scipio waits for it to stop. He does not look at the floor. He does not look at the ceiling. He looks at the men who are laughing. He finds their eyes one by one and holds them. He is not angry. He does not perform patience. He simply looks at them. The looking has a quality. The looked at man must be the one to stop first. The laughter stops faster than it started. He speaks for 11 minutes. His voice does not rise once. He says what Hispania needs. He says it the way a man says things he has known for a long time. Things he has been waiting to say in the right room. He says why he can provide it. He says what he will do when he gets there. He says it in the order of a man who has checked the list more than once. 3 Carthaginian armies in the field. None within 10 days of the coastal cities. The supply lines from Carthage that can be cut. The silver in the south that funds everything. The hostages held in Carthago Nova that belong to every client tribe in the province. He does not say what he will do about Carthago Nova directly. He is not ready to say that yet. He says enough to show that he has thought about what matters and in what order. 11 minutes. He sits down. The chamber is a different kind of quiet now. The kind that comes after something unexpected has happened and the men inside it are revising. Not the content of what was said. They are revising what they thought they were looking at. The vote takes less time than the laughter did. It passes. Several of the men who laughed will not remember laughing. This will happen within the year. Memory adjusts to fit what turned out to be true. It is not dishonesty. It is simply how senators work. They need to be on the right side of a decision they did not make. He walks out of the curia into the January cold. The forum is awake now. The crowd that was not there an hour ago is here. The merchants and the scribes. The men who come to the forum every morning because the forum is where things happen. They want to be near things when they happen. None of them know yet what just happened inside. He walks through them. He is the proconsul of Hispania now. He has been proconsul for perhaps 12 minutes. It does not feel like anything specific yet. He thinks it might feel like something specific when he is on the road. For now it is a vote that passed. A chamber already moving on to the next piece of business. He finds Laelius. Laelius is waiting at the edge of the forum. He has been there since before the session. He did not go in. He does not have standing to be in the session. He waited outside. He sees Scipio's face. He says, "It passed." Scipio says, "Yes." Laelius is quiet for a moment. He knows Scipio well enough to know that the answer to the next question is already in that one word. He says, "When do we leave?" Scipio says, "First week of February." Laelius nods. He starts to say something. Scipio says, "I need to find a fisherman who knows the coast near Carthago Nova." Laelius stops. He says, "The coast." Scipio says, "A lagoon to the north. I need someone who has been in it." Laelius does not ask why. He knows what it means when Scipio is thinking about specific terrain he has not seen. The question is not why. It is how soon. He says, "I will find someone." He does. He always does. He leaves Rome in the first week of February. His mother comes to the gate. Cornelia is not a woman who comes to gates. She does not do the things women do at gates. She does not hold on. She does not say careful things in the voice of people who may not see each other again. She comes to the gate the way she does everything. Directly. Without adjustment. She says something to him. He will think about it for a long time. On roads that are not this road. In places that are not Rome. He will think about it at the Ebro. In the camp near the coast. On the walls of Carthago Nova after the city has fallen. He will think about it in Africa. He will think about it on the night before Zama when he cannot sleep, which is unusual for him. He will still be able to hear exactly how she said it. He hears it now. He keeps moving. The road south is cold and dry. 28,000 soldiers move behind him. The sound they make is not one sound. It is 10,000 sounds at once. The iron fittings on the carts. The mules with their opinions about the pace. The boots of 28,000 men finding the road in sequence. The sound follows him. He rides at the front. He needs to see the road. He has not seen it before. His father knew this road. His father rode south on this road to take command of a province that would kill him. His uncle rode south behind him. They knew this road the way soldiers know roads. As terrain. As the distance between where they were and where they needed to be. He needs to know it differently. He is going to do something on this road that neither of them thought to do. He is already thinking about Carthago Nova. The city sits on a peninsula on the eastern coast. A narrow neck of land connects it to the mainland on the south side. Water on 3 sides. Old walls on the 4th. It is the center of everything Carthage has built in Hispania over 20 years. Silver. Supplies. Weapons. Hostages from every client tribe in the province. Ships. The harbor is one of the best on that coast. If you take Carthago Nova, you take everything that holds Carthaginian Hispania together. 3 Carthaginian armies are spread across the province. Hasdrubal Barca in the north, near the Tagus. Hasdrubal son of Gisco in the west. Mago in the south near the Silver Country. None of them within 10 days' march of the city. None of them expecting anyone to move that fast in February. He has a question about the water to the north of Carthago Nova. He has had it for 3 weeks. The maps he has do not answer it. Every map he has found shows a lagoon. Shallow. Inaccessible to ships. The maps agree on this. The maps are not wrong about what they say. They do not say enough. He needs someone who has walked that water. Not someone who drew a map of it. He rides. The mules behind him are loud and then quiet and then loud again with the rhythm of the road. The air smells of dust and old defeat, and somewhere far under both of those, the sea. He keeps thinking about the water. Chapter 2. What defeat left behind. Hispania smells different from Italy. The soil is red where the road cuts through it. The red is deeper than the red of Italian clay. It is the red of ground that has not had rain in a long time and is not expecting any. The air is dry even in February. The light is flat in a way that takes time to adjust to. Too direct. No hills to break it. Comes off the ground as well as the sky. There is no shelter from it in the middle of the day. The camp is near the Ebro River. It has been there since before summer. Scipio arrives in the 3rd week of February, and he knows before he sees the walls that something is wrong. The walls are correct. The ditches are correct. The spacing of the watchtowers. These are things you do from habit. The habits of a Roman military camp persist as long as there is anyone to enforce them. But there is something in the way the camp sits that is different from a camp that is going somewhere. Camps going somewhere lean slightly in the direction of the next thing. This one does not lean. An army that has its confidence makes a certain kind of noise. Movement. Metal. The low continuous sound of men who have somewhere to be. This camp is quiet in a different way. The quiet of men who have decided that today will be the same as yesterday. Expecting otherwise is the kind of error you stop making after enough repetition. He goes in alone. He does not bring Laelius. He does not bring the officers from Rome. He walks. The first thing he notices is the fires. Too many of them for midday. Cook fires at midday in an unthreatened camp. That is information. It means no one has given them anything to do. It means this has been true for some time. The second thing he notices is the eyes. A commander who has his army's trust gets looked at when he moves through it. Not formally. The eyes come up. They check. What kind of day is he having? What does he know? What is coming? These men do not check. They have made a decision over 4 months, not to invest in looking. A reasonable decision. An army without a commander for 4 months stops expecting anything from whoever walks through. The bar has come down to the floor. He stops at a cook fire on the east side. 3 men. Older than the average. The kind of soldiers who have survived enough to stop looking surprised by anything. He asks where they are from in Italy. Not which unit. He knows the units from the marks. He wants to know where in Italy. The answer tells him something the unit mark does not. The first man says Capua. He says it without looking up from the fire. Capua is a city of some standing. A man from Capua mentions it the way people mention things that place them correctly. The second says a village south of Brundisium, near the coast. He does not name the village. A man from a village south of something knows that the something is the landmark and the village is not. The third says nothing. He looks at the fire. Scipio asks the third man his name. The man looks up. It takes a moment. He has not been asked his name in a while. He gives it. Scipio nods once. He moves on. He does this for 2 hours. He stops at 11 fires. He learns 57 names. Where each man came from. 1 or 2 things about what they did before the legions. A man from the hills east of Rome who kept bees. A man from near Capua who knew how to read and was careful not to mention it too often. A man from a river valley in the north. He had never seen the sea before the army brought him to it. Who had still not decided what he thought of it. He learns nothing tactical from this. He learns what he came to learn. These men can come back. They have not lost the knowledge of the work. They have only lost the belief that anyone is paying attention to whether they do it or not. He will pay attention. He will learn later, that word moved through the camp before he finished his second hour. The new commander is walking. He is stopping at fires. He is asking names and learning them. He does not have a tablet. He is not writing anything down. By the evening of the first day, the camp has a different quality to its noise. Not much, but enough to hear. The next morning he does something the camp does not expect. He runs. Not with officers. Not with guards. He runs the perimeter of the camp before the sunrise watch changes. 4 miles. The full perimeter. He is not fast. He is not trying to be fast. He maintains a pace that a man in good condition can hold without stopping. When he finishes, a section of the camp has been watching him. He does not acknowledge this. He goes to the water, washes and starts the day. By midday, 12 men have asked permission to run with him tomorrow. He grants it. By the end of the week, 40 men are running the perimeter before dawn. None of them asked why. None of them needed to. An army that has nothing to do needs a thing to do. He gave them a thing. The thing is also training. He did not explain this because explaining it would have made it smaller. The camp does not transform in a week. It does not transform in 2 weeks. But at the end of the second week, the morning sounds are different. The cook fires happen at a different time of day. The watch rotations are tighter. The men who looked at the ground now look up. Not at him specifically. At the day. At what is coming. This is what he came to find out. Whether it was still in them. It is. That evening the senior officers eat together in the command tent. This is not unusual. What is unusual is that the new commander is there. Sitting at the end of the table, eating the same food, listening more than he speaks. The officers are careful at first. They are measuring him. They measure with the tools they have. How he holds himself. Whether he asks the right questions or the performative ones. Whether he talks about the future or the past. Most new commanders talk about the past. Their record. Their connections. The things they did before this command that explain why they deserve this command. He asks them about the river. Not the Ebro which they all know. There is a smaller river. A tributary. His maps show it as passable in winter. The scouts have reported differently. He asks about it. He asks what it looks like in February specifically. He asks which of them has crossed it in February and when that was. One officer says, I crossed it 3 years ago in the first week of February. It was chest deep. Scipio says thank you. He asks about a pass through the hills south of the camp. An officer describes it. He asks about the valley on the other side. A different officer describes it. He asks if both of these officers saw the same valley or different ones. They compare descriptions. They realize they are describing the same valley at different times of year. The descriptions do not match. He listens to the difference and does not decide between them. He notes both versions. He keeps the one that is more difficult in his working picture of the terrain. This takes 2 hours. At the end of it, the officers file out. 2 of them stop in the corridor outside and say something to each other in low voices. He cannot hear the words. He can hear the tone. The tone has changed from the morning meeting. In the morning the tone said, we will wait and see. Tonight the tone says something different. Not confidence. Not yet. Something closer to, this might be worth paying attention to. He puts out the lamp in the command tent and walks back to his quarters through the camp. The camp sounds different tonight. He cannot say exactly how. The same fires. The same watch rotation. The same distance between tents. But something in the quality of the noise has shifted. A camp that was holding still is beginning, very slightly, to lean in a direction. He goes to sleep. He will need it. The second week is different from the first. Not because of anything he does differently. He does the same things. The morning run. The fires in the middle of the day. The names. The questions. The same things in the same order. The second week is different because the camp starts doing it back. Men who were not running are running. Not in any organized way. Singly. In pairs. 2 men running the perimeter in the early light is not notable. 3 becomes 4. 4 becomes 7. By the end of the second week, 40 men are running before dawn. None of them were told to. The cook fires change. Not the number. The timing. Midday fires started because there was nothing else to do. By the end of the second week, the men around them are different. Men who have finished something. Not men who have not started. The watch rotations tighten. Not on his order. The centurions do it. They can feel the camp changing and they change with it. He does not comment on any of this. He runs. He stops at fires. He learns names. He eats in the command tent and asks about tributary crossings. The camp becomes a different thing around him. 3 days before the march, a thing happens that he will not forget. He is at the south gate checking the supply wagons. The count of salted fish is wrong by 47 units. A number that matters over 7 days at 28,000 men. He is working through it with the supply officer when he hears something behind him. The man from Brundisium. The one who would not look up at the fire on the first day. He is standing at the correct distance. The distance of a man who wants to be seen but is not sure of the protocol. Scipio says his name. The man straightens. He says the fish count. He says it the way a man says something he has been working up to. He says, I know where the extra 47 are. The wagon master kept them back. There is a second inventory. He keeps it for himself. Scipio says, show me. The man shows him. The inventory is there. The 47 units are there. Scipio does not raise his voice. He says what will happen. What? The units go into the official count by this evening. The wagon master nods. He finds the man from Brundisium afterward. He says his name. He says the full name. With the village south of Brundisium included. The village is part of who the man is. The man says, yes sir. He walks away. An army that polices its own supply chain has decided to go somewhere. That decision was not his to make. He could only create the conditions for it. The man from Brundisium made it. The last thing he does before they march is visit the men he is not taking. Every army carries its sick. Men with injuries that will not heal in a week. Men with fevers. Men with the kind of foot damage that 7 days on the road would worsen past recovery. There are 43 of them. He has the list. He goes to the medical area in the afternoon of the last day. He does not do this to lift spirits. He does not do it because a commander is supposed to. He does it because these 43 men will hold the Ebro position. A camp held by men who feel invisible fails. A camp held by men who feel seen does not. He goes through the list. He talks to each man. He uses the names. He asks specific questions. Not how are you feeling, which is a question that does not require an answer. What happened? When? What the surgeon said. These are questions that require the man to engage. Some of them have the look of men who believe the army is leaving because of something they did. He corrects this where he sees it. Not with speeches. With the specific fact of their injury. When it is expected to heal. What they will rejoin when it does. He spends 2 hours on this. When he leaves, the medical section is louder than when he arrived. This is the correct direction for a sick bay to move in on the day before a march. The opposite direction is quieter. More resigned. The direction of men who have decided they have been left behind. He goes to the command tent and eats with the officers and asks about the tributary crossings again. This is where it begins. Not at Cannae. Not in the forum. Here. A camp near the Ebro. The third week of February. Walking between cook fires. Learning the names of men who have given up expecting anything. He does not know that yet. He is thinking about the lagoon. The senior officers meet him at midday in the command tent. 7 men. All experienced. Most served under his father in this same province. They know Hispania in ways he does not. They know it the way men know something they have paid for with time and discomfort. They know which roads flood in spring. They know which client tribes will hold and which ones will not. They know the distances between water sources. They are watching him with the faces of men who have agreed to be patient, paying close attention to everything he does while appearing merely to wait. He lets them watch. He asks them to describe the terrain between the Ebro and the southern coast. Not from maps. From memory. He wants to hear what they noticed when they moved through it, not what was written down afterward. Written things miss what did not seem worth writing at the time. They describe it. He listens. He asks questions. Not questions that test them. Questions that need answers. 3 Carthaginian armies in the field, they tell him. Hasdrubal Barca in the north, near the Tagus, the largest force. Hasdrubal son of Gisco in the west. Mago in the south near the Silver Country. None of the 3 within 10 days' march of Carthago Nova. Scipio asks why not. The officers look at each other. The question has an obvious answer. Carthago Nova is well defended. It does not need armies at its walls. The armies are in the field because that is where armies belong. The question is so obvious that the fact that it is being asked is its own information. Scipio says nothing. What he is thinking is this. The most important city in Hispania has no military force within 10 days. 10 days is a long time if something moves fast and does not announce itself first. 10 days is a gap. He has been looking for a gap. He asks about the water to the north of Carthago Nova. A lagoon, one officer says. Shallow. No vessel can use it. The city is on a peninsula. Water on 3 sides. Walls on the 4th. Scipio asks about the depth of the lagoon. The officer does not know precisely. Scipio asks if anyone in the camp would know. The officers look at one another. No one volunteers. The meeting ends. The officers file out. He hears their tone in the corridor without hearing the words. The tone says, "Young, strange questions, we will wait and see." The tone does not say but means, he is 24. His father is dead. We do not know yet if that makes this better or worse. He sits in the tent after they have gone. He does not look at the maps. He already knows what they say about the lagoon. He needs what they do not say. He finds the fisherman in the late afternoon. His name is Marcus. He sells fish to the camp. He has done this since before the Roman army arrived and will do it after they leave. He is not the kind of man who adjusts what he does based on what is happening around him. The army is weather to him. You work around weather. You do not stop working because of weather. Scipio finds him at the south edge of the camp, unloading his cart in the last of the day's light. The cart smells of salt and cold water. Marcus is the kind of man whose face does not tell you his age. Tanned in a specific way. The way men are tanned who work in that particular coastal light for many years. He asks about the lagoon to the north of Carthago Nova. The fisherman stops. He looks at the rank marks. He looks at Scipio's face to see whether this is the kind of question with a wrong answer. It does not appear to. He answers. The lagoon is shallow, he says. How shallow changes with the season and time of day. In winter, in the afternoon, when the south wind comes off the open water, the level drops. He has seen it drop far enough to walk. Not always. Maybe twice in a season. Scipio asks, how deep at the lowest point? The fisherman thinks. He is not guessing. He is remembering. Scipio can see the difference. A man guessing looks up. A man remembering looks at his hands. Or at a middle distance that contains what he is trying to bring back. Marcus looks at his hands. He holds one out, palm down. Below the knee. Sometimes lower than that. Scipio thanks him by name. He learned the name from a man at a cook fire this morning. Someone who mentioned Marcus and the fish. Scipio kept it. The fisherman walks away. Then stops. Looks back. This is a reflex. It happens when something surprises a man who was not expecting to be surprised. He was not expecting to be thanked by name. That night, Scipio sits alone with the coastal maps. He has the lagoon. He has the timing. He has 28,000 soldiers. The nearest Carthaginian army is 10 days away. 10 days assumes they receive word and move immediately. That requires someone to tell them. He goes through the plan from the beginning. The march south, 7 days. He needs to keep the army off the main roads for the first 4. The scouts Carthage keeps on the eastern highway will report a Roman column moving south. They will not know where it is going until it is already there. 7 days is tight. 7 days is enough. The approach, the last 2 days along the coast road, visible from the walls. Nothing to be done about this. An army of 28,000 cannot be hidden on an open coast. What can be done is to move fast enough. Fast enough that the garrison does not have time to send word. Fast enough that none of the 3 Carthaginian generals can reach them. The math of this is what he has been doing for 3 weeks. Hasdrubal Barca on the Tagus. Fastest route to Carthago Nova, 12 days if he moves hard. 10 if the roads are good and he starts the moment a rider reaches him. The army will be at the walls in 7. The city needs to fall in 1 day. If it takes 2, the math changes. He looks at the northern edge of the map. The lagoon. The line is thin and slightly uncertain. The way map lines are when the cartographer did not walk the ground himself. He traces it with his finger. The finger does not add information. He does it anyway. Below the knee. Sometimes lower. He has been over this enough times that Marcus's words have stopped being words. They have become a kind of physical fact. A measurement. He knows what it means in terms of water. He knows what it means in terms of 500 men crossing in light armor, carrying shields, moving in order. He has run through every version of the south wind. If it comes early. If it comes at noon. If it comes midday but weakly. If it comes and goes in 20 minutes. If it does not come at all. For each version a different day. Only one ends in the city falling. He does not tell himself this is a problem. He has been in actions before where the outcome depended on things outside his control. What you control is the preparation. The march. The approach. The timing of the assault so that the defenders are looking the right direction when the wind decides. He controls what he controls. He folds the map. He puts it to the side of the table. He puts out the lamp. 3 days. They march in 3 days. He can sleep. He always sleeps before a difficult day. This is not a quality. It is simply how he is made. The morning comes whether he sleeps or not. Chapter 3. The tide the city forgot. He calls his senior officers before dawn. 7 men. All older than he is. Most by a decade. They come in quietly and find their places around the map table. The tent is cold in a way that will not improve until the sun has been up for 2 hours. They do not complain about the cold. They have been in this province for 2 years. They have stopped noticing cold. They look at him with the faces of men who have agreed to be patient. They are paying very close attention to everything he does while appearing merely to listen. He tells them what he is going to do. 7 days march south along the coast. A naval force under Laelius to go around the southern point of the peninsula and seal the harbor. The main land force against the walls on the landward side. And then the lagoon. The room is quiet. Not the quiet of men who have nothing to say. This is a different quiet. The quiet of men who have just heard something. Something that requires them to decide what they think before they speak. They are not yet done deciding. He lays out the details. The route of march keeps them off the main roads for the first 4 days. Away from Carthaginian scouts who might carry word south. The timing of the main assault gives the naval force time to reach the harbor. The northern lagoon force, 500 men with light equipment, will wait in the reeds until the afternoon. He says, the south wind drops the water in the afternoon. He says when it drops we cross. One officer asks about the depth. Below the knee, Scipio says. Sometimes lower. The officer nods. He has the face of a man who is being polite about what he is thinking. What he is thinking is, below the knee. This plan rests on a fisherman's estimate and a winter wind in February. Another asks, what if the wind does not come? Scipio moves to the next point. The officer does not ask again. This is information too. The officer stopped not because the question was answered. The question was not answered. The officer stopped because the new commander moved past it, and moving past it is itself a kind of answer. Either the plan works or it does not. There is no contingency for the wind. There is only the wind. The briefing takes 40 minutes. He asks at the end if there are further questions. There are none. Not because there are no questions. The room is full of them. The questions open onto other questions. None of them are small. This is not the room to ask them. He dismisses them. Laelius stays. He is not the oldest officer in the room. He is the one who has known Scipio the longest, which is different. He was there at the Ticinus when Scipio was 17 and rode back in for his father. He has known what Scipio looks like from the outside when Scipio has made a decision. Correct or catastrophic. The outside looks the same either way. He has known Scipio since before any of that. They grew up in the same district of Rome. They were at the same schools. Laelius was 2 years older, which at 8 years old is a meaningful gap, and at 24 means nothing. By the time they were both in the cavalry, the gap had closed entirely. They think differently. This is the thing about Laelius that has always been useful. He does not think the way Scipio thinks. He knows this about himself. He is not troubled by it. Scipio thinks in pictures. He sees a plan the way you see a room. He can walk around inside it. He can see where the light falls wrong and where the floor is uneven. Laelius thinks in sequences. One thing, then the next, then the one after that. The two modes of thinking together cover more ground than either alone. Laelius has been thinking about the lagoon in sequences. If the wind comes before noon. If it comes at noon. If it comes late. If it does not come. For each branch, what happens next. He has run it through 17 times in the last 2 days. He cannot find a version where it goes well without the wind. This is why he stayed. He waits until the others have cleared the tent entirely. He stands near the entrance. He does not touch the map on the table. He looks at it. He asks the question the others decided not to ask. What if the water does not drop? It is the right question. The only question that matters. The question Scipio has been inside for 2 nights running. The others did not ask. Asking would require acknowledging that the plan has a condition they cannot control. Officers in a new command do not say that kind of thing out loud in front of the new commander. They learn what kind of man he is before they say that kind of thing. Laelius already knows. If the water does not drop, the northern force cannot cross. The 500 men stand in the reeds until the assault fails. Then they retreat. 28,000 soldiers in the open. Walls ahead. Nothing behind. 10 days before a Carthaginian army arrives. He has been through this sequence many times. He does not lie to Laelius. He says, if the water does not drop, it will be very bad. Laelius nods. He is quiet. He looks at the map for a long time. He says, does Scipio believe the water will drop? Scipio is quiet. He is quiet for longer than the question requires. He is not deciding what to say. He is sitting inside the question, which is not really about the water. The question is there something I am not seeing? Is there a reason this plan fails that I have not found? Is there something in my own thinking that I am trusting too much because I want this to be right? He goes through it one more time. The fisherman. The hand. Below the knee. The steadiness of a man talking about something he has watched many times. The particular confidence of that kind of memory. Not the confidence of a man who is guessing. A man guessing looks up. Marcus did not look up. The confidence of a man who has walked that water with his own feet. He says, yes. Laelius, how sure? Scipio picks up the map from the table. He rolls it carefully. He sets it to one side. He says, full rations the night before we march. Not half. Full. Laelius starts to say something else. Scipio says they need to eat well. Laelius looks at him. He has known this man since they were boys. He knows when the conversation is over. He goes. Scipio sits alone. He is 24 years old. He has just committed 28,000 soldiers to an assault whose deciding element depends on a south wind in February. The plan rests on information from a fisherman and a theory about tides. That is the whole of it. There is no fourth thing. He does not call this courage. Courage is a word people use for things they are watching from outside. From inside this tent, sitting with this decision, it is only arithmetic. He has counted the numbers on both sides. If the wind comes, the calculation changes for everyone in Hispania. If the wind does not come, the calculation changes for him in a different way. He has counted both sides. He has decided that the larger risk is doing nothing. That is the whole of the arithmetic. He thinks about his father. Publius Cornelius Scipio knew this province. He made decisions in tents like this one. He was careful. He verified his information. He kept his supply lines sound and his flanks covered and his officers informed. He trusted his judgment because his judgment had earned trust over many years of careful work. He is dead. Gnaeus Scipio was the same. Careful. Experienced. They died within a month of each other. In different parts of the same province. For different reasons. The province found two different ways to kill them. Being careful is not the protection people on the outside of a decision believe it to be. He has thought about his father's last season in Hispania. His father divided the army. He knew it was a risk. He calculated that the risk was acceptable and that the division was necessary to cover the territory. The calculation was correct. The risk was slightly higher than he believed. His information about the Celtiberian allies was slightly wrong. Not wrong by much. Wrong by enough. His uncle made a different mistake. He trusted a man he had trusted before. The man was not worth the same trust in a different season with a different offer on the table. Both men were right about most things. They were wrong about one thing each. The province killed them for it. He has been thinking about what he might be wrong about. The lagoon. He has checked the lagoon more times than anything else. He cannot find what he is wrong about. This is either reassuring or alarming. He has decided it is reassuring. A plan that holds up under every examination has either passed the test, or it is wrong in a way he cannot see. Both are possible. He trusts Marcus's hand. He trusts Laelius on the water. He trusts his own reading of the distances. He has nothing else to trust. He will have to find out with the army. He thinks about Marcus showing him with his hand. Below the knee. Sometimes lower. The quiet certainty of a man who has walked that water. The man had no reason to lie. He had no idea what the answer would be used for. He answered with the ease of a man describing something he has seen so many times it is simply fact. Scipio trusts the fisherman's memory. He trusts it more than he trusts his own confidence. His confidence is something he has constructed. The fisherman's memory is something he observed over many years with his feet. He puts out the lamp. 3 days. They march in 3 days. He can sleep. He always sleeps before a difficult day. This is not a quality. It is simply how he is made. The morning comes whether he sleeps or not. The lamp is out. The maps are on the table. The wind is doing whatever the wind is doing tonight. He lies down. He does not think about the plan anymore. He has thought about it enough. The thinking is done. What is left is the doing. The doing starts in 3 days. Until then the plan sits in him the way a stone sits in water. It is simply there. He sleeps. The day before the march he calls the entire army together. 28,000 men in the flat ground east of the camp. They fill it. He has not done this before. Most commanders speak to officers. The officers carry the word to the centurions. The centurions carry it to the men. By the time it reaches the last man, it has been through 4 different mouths. It is not quite the same word anymore. He speaks to the men directly. He does not tell them the plan. He tells them what he can tell them. He tells them they march tomorrow. He tells them what Carthago Nova is. He tells them what is inside it. Silver, ships, hostages. Everything that holds Carthaginian Hispania together. He tells them this without decoration the way you tell someone a fact they will need. He tells them about the 3 armies. How far away they are. He says, 10 days. He says it the way a man says something he has checked more than once. He pauses. 28,000 men are quiet. This is not the silence of men who have been ordered to be quiet. It is the silence of men who are choosing to listen. He has had the camp for 3 weeks. In 3 weeks he learned 57 names. He ran the perimeter every morning. He ate in the command tent asking officers about tributary crossings. 3 weeks is enough time for an army to decide what kind of man is in front of them. They have decided. He does not know exactly what they decided. He knows they are listening. He tells them about the water. He does not call it the lagoon. He does not give it a name. He says, "There is a way into the city that Carthage does not know we have found." He says it the way you say a thing that is true. That you want people to remember exactly as you said it. Trust the plan, he says. Not me. The plan. He says this because it is true. If something happens to him tomorrow, the plan is still the plan. The plan does not depend on his being there. He has made sure of this. Laelius knows every part of it. The officers know their pieces. The 500 men in the lagoon force know what they are there for. He has not told them yet what the signal means. He is quiet for a moment after he says trust the plan. 28,000 men are quiet too. Then he says full rations tonight. He says nothing else. He turns and walks back through the middle of them. They part for him. He does not look back. He does not need to see their faces. He can feel the quality of the air behind him. It is different from the air of 3 weeks ago. An army that is going somewhere leans. 3 weeks ago this army did not lean. Tonight it leans toward tomorrow. That is what he came for. He returns to the command tent and does not sleep for 2 hours. He goes through the plan one more time, which is not because he doubts it. It is because going through it one more time is the last thing he can do. After this, the doing starts, and the doing is out of his hands. The plan is correct. He does not say this to reassure himself. He has been through it enough times that the reassurance phase is past. He says it the way an engineer says a structure is sound. After the load calculations. After the material checks. After everything that can be checked has been checked. The plan is correct. The wind is the only part that is not his to check. He has accepted this. You accept what you cannot control or you go to pieces over it. He has never gone to pieces over it. He is not certain this is a virtue. It may simply be how he is made. He goes to sleep. That night, the last night before the march, he walks the camp one more time. He does this alone. Not the perimeter walk. The interior. Through the rows of tents and the watchfires and the spaces between. The army at night is a different organism from the army during the day. It breathes differently. It sounds differently. Most of the men are asleep. The ones who cannot sleep are doing what men do when they cannot sleep before a fight. Some of them clean equipment that is already clean. Some of them sit quietly and look at something that is not there. Some of them talk in low voices about things that have nothing to do with tomorrow. He passes the section where the men from Brundisium are camped. The man who said nothing at the cook fire is awake. He is sitting with his back against a tent post. He sees Scipio and does not straighten. He just looks. Scipio stops. He says, "You should sleep." The man says, "I know." He says it like a man who has been telling himself this for hours. Scipio nods once. He moves on. He finds the man from Capua. Sleep. He has his cloak pulled up and his arm over his face. Asleep the way men are when they have decided to be. Deeply. All at once. He finds the beekeeper from the hills east of Rome. Sleep. He finds the man who keeps his ability to read to himself. Also asleep. He finds the lagoon force. 500 men. They are in the section of the camp nearest the northern wall. He knows which section because he assigned it. They do not know yet that they are the lagoon force. They know they are in a section of the camp with light equipment. Specific orders to wait for the signal. They do not know what the signal will release them to do. He looks at them for a moment. 500 men who trust the plan because the plan is all they have. 500 men standing in cold water is what the plan requires. He has given them that requirement without telling them what the requirement is for. He will tell them before it starts. Not before. He walks back to his tent. He lies down. The plan is what it is. The wind will do what the wind does. The march starts at first light and he will be at the front of it. Everything else is already arranged. He sleeps. Chapter 4, The hour the water pulled back. 7 days. The army moves south along the coast. 28,000 men. The road was not built for this many. They make their own road beside the road. The dust travels further than the sound. The sound travels further than anyone wants. Scipio rides at the front. On the first day nothing happens. 28,000 men walking together on a road in February is its own weather. The sound of it, the rhythm of it, the smell of it. Iron and leather and bodies. The particular dust of this coast, which is finer than Italian dust. It sticks to everything differently. On the second day the road turns inland to avoid a marsh near the coast. The detour costs 4 hours. He takes it. A road through a winter marsh is not a road. It is a place where the plan gets smaller before it has had a chance to begin. On the third day, a scout reports 2 riders on a ridge to the east. They were watching the column. By the time 2 men went up the ridge, the riders were gone. Scipio does not change the route. Changing the route now would cost more than the watchers. On the 4th day, a senior officer rides up beside him. He says the men are asking questions. He says this with the voice of a man asking the same questions himself. Scipio says, "Full rations tonight." "Not half." He says nothing else. The officer falls back. Full rations is an answer. Not to the question the officer asked. To the question underneath it. Full rations means, I know where we are going. I am confident enough in what is at the end to spend the supplies now. An army that is going somewhere uncertain gets half rations to preserve options. An army that is going to win gets fed. The officer falls back. He does not ask again. On the 5th day the coast road rises and the sea is visible for the first time. Some of the men look at it. Some of them have never seen it before. They are from the interior. From valleys and river towns. They look at the sea the way people look at something larger than what they were told. Scipio does not look at it. He has seen it. He is looking south at the shape of the land where the coast bends toward the peninsula. On the 6th night the army camps within sight of the city. The lights of Carthago Nova are visible to the south. The city sits on its peninsula and glows. It has walls. It has water on 3 sides. It has a harbor full of ships. A garrison of men who have never needed to defend it from this direction. It has never been taken. It knows this about itself. The knowing is in the way it sits in the darkness. Confident. So. It does not know what is in the reeds to its north. Scipio walks the perimeter after dark alone. He counts the watchfires. He checks the spacing. He walks slowly, the way a man walks when he wants his presence to be felt without being noticed. The men on watch straighten when they see him. He nods. He keeps walking. He thinks about what this night is doing to his men. The same thing every night before a fight does. Making some of them very still inside. Making some of them very loud. Both things at once in the same camp. The loud ones are not the dangerous ones. The dangerous ones are the still ones who have gone somewhere inside themselves and are not yet back. He finds the man from Brundisium. The one who looked at the fire and said nothing the first day. He is on watch at the northern wall of the camp. He sees Scipio coming and straightens. Scipio says his name. The man says, yes. Scipio says, we go tomorrow. He says it quietly. The way you say something past the point of deciding. Not to convince anyone. Just to say it in the air. The man looks at the city lights to the south. He looks back at Scipio. He nods. He does not ask the questions a man might reasonably ask. Where exactly? At what time? What happens if the walls hold? He has the face of a man who has decided to trust the process for one more day. Scipio walks on. He walks the full perimeter. It takes an hour. He goes to sleep when he is done. He has been thinking about what this night does to men. Not fear exactly. Fear is the wrong word for it. Fear is what you feel when you see the thing coming. Tonight the thing has not started yet. What tonight does is something else. It removes the future. A man who is going to fight tomorrow has no tomorrow in the ordinary sense. The ordinary future is made up of small things. The letter he meant to write. The debt he meant to repay. The conversation he kept putting off. Tonight all of that is suspended. There is only tonight and then the battle. Some men find this clarifying. Some find it intolerable. He has found it both at different points. Tonight he finds it neither. He has done what he could do. Prepare the army. Prepare the plan. As well as he could prepare them. What happens tomorrow is partly his. Partly the south wind. Partly 28,000 men doing what they do when the order goes. He has prepared what he could prepare. He sleeps. On the 7th morning the army rises before the sun. No orders are needed for this. The men know the 7th day is the day. They have known since the full rations on the 4th night. An army fed well the night before a difficult day knows what the morning is for. They do not need to be told. The lagoon force goes in first, in the dark. 500 men move without sound along the northern shore. They enter the water before dawn. The water is cold and black. They do not make noise about it. They find the reeds and they go into the reeds and they wait. They have been told to wait for the signal. They have not been told what the signal means. They are trusting the plan because the plan is all they have. The main force assembles in the gray before dawn. 27,500 men in formation on the landward side of the city. They can see the walls. The walls can see them. This is the last moment before all of it starts. Scipio rides to the front. He does not speak. He looks at the walls. Then he gives the order and the army moves. The attack begins before full light. Laelius takes the naval squadron around the southern point of the peninsula while it is still dark. The ships move without lights. They arrive at the harbor mouth 2 hours late. 2 hours late is not late enough to matter for a harbor that has nowhere to run. The main force moves on the landward side at first light. The walls of Carthago Nova are high and old. Stone that has been here since Carthage first took this coast. And before that, since whoever held this peninsula before Carthage. The defenders are already on the walls. They were on them before dawn. They knew. 28,000 men do not move in silence for 7 days, not completely. The city had watchers on the roads. The watchers reported. The garrison prepared. But knowing is not the same as stopping. The first assault reaches the walls at full light. The walls hold. The defenders have height and stones and the particular advantage of knowing exactly where the next ladder is coming. The ladders go up and come back down. Men go up and do not come back down. The assault does what assaults do against walls that are going to hold. Cost something. It does not open anything. Scipio watches from behind the main line. He counts. He always counts. He counts what the assault is doing and what it is not doing. He counts where the defenders are concentrating and where they are pulling from. The main assault is not the plan. It is the part of the plan that fills the defenders' attention. He is watching where their attention is going. Their eyes are going to the south gate, the harbor side, where Laelius is. He looks north. The lagoon is still. The water sits flat under the February sky. The reeds at the water's edge are straight and silent. There is no south wind. There is no wind at all. The surface of the water is as flat as a floor. He waits. He is good at waiting. This has surprised people before. Men who watched him work through a plan expected a man who would be impatient at the walls. The speed of it. The way he moves from one thing to the next without hesitation. He is not impatient. A plan has the pace that the plan has. You cannot make it go faster by wanting it to. He counts what he can count. The assault is at 7 points on the eastern wall. 3 of those points have men at the top of ladders right now. All 3 will fail in the next 30 seconds. He can see this from the movement of the defenders. When defenders shift weight to the inside of the wall, the ladder is about to fail. The shift happens before the man on the ladder knows the ladder is about to fail. 3 ladders come down. He has a number in his head. A number representing the acceptable cost for a single day's assault on this city. Given what is inside it. Given the size of the replacement force available if he spends this one. He made the calculation on the second night in the Ebro camp, after the fisherman. He has not said the number aloud. It is useful only to him. He is still inside the number. The second assault goes in. He sends it at 2 places along the eastern wall. Places where the first assault found a weakness that was not quite a breach. The second assault does better in those 2 places. It does not do better enough. The walls hold. The sun moves. The morning becomes midday. 500 men are standing in the reeds to the north. They went in before dawn. Light shields. No heavy equipment. Enough food for one day which they did not eat. They have been standing in water that reaches their shins since before the assault began. The water is cold in the way that February water on that coast is cold. It is not the cold that kills you quickly. It is the cold that takes you apart 1 hour at a time. He knows this because he asked. A soldier who spent a winter in a waterlogged camp in the north 2 years before. The soldier said, "It depends on the man. Some feel it in the second hour. some not until the fourth. By the fifth hour it does not matter what kind of man you are. 500 men have been in the water since before dawn. He does not look at the sun. He knows where it is. They have perhaps 2 hours. He does not tell anyone this. He is the only one who needs to know. They do not know when the order is coming. They do not know if the order is coming. They are standing in February water in the reeds outside a city they cannot see from where they are. They can hear the assault on the south walls. The sound carries across the water and through the reeds. It reaches them as something flattened by distance, compressed, unrecognizable as the thing it is. They stand. They wait. The waiting has the specific quality of waiting that cannot be ended by the person doing it. Scipio stands at the edge of the observation line and watches the lagoon. The water is still. He waits. A man beside him says something about the third assault. Scipio does not answer. He is looking at the lagoon. The third assault goes. He ordered it. He was not planning a third assault. A third assault without a breach his bodies. He ordered it because the men in the reeds need more time. The defenders on the walls need to keep looking south. The third assault buys both of those things at a cost he did not budget for when he planned. He watches the lagoon. The water is still. A different man beside him says something about regrouping. Scipio hears the words. He does not answer. He is watching the surface of the water. The reed grass at its edge. The particular way still air sits over still water. Still air and moving air look different over a flat surface. He knows what he is looking for. He thinks about Marcus. Below the knee. Sometimes lower. The morning that Scipio asked him, Marcus did not hesitate. He showed with his hand without looking at the hand. A man shows things that way when he has seen them enough. The body remembers before the mind does. Marcus had shown him with the ease of a man describing something that does not need words. Sometimes lower. Scipio watches the water. He has been watching it for 2 hours. The main force has taken losses he can count. The losses are inside the number he calculated. He is still inside the calculation. The calculation holds until the sun goes down and the lagoon force has to come out of the reeds. The sun has 4 hours. He watches the water. The surface of the lagoon shifts. A ripple moving from south to north across the flat water. One ripple. Then a second. The reed grass at the edge bends slightly, all of it at once. In a new direction. The south wind. Scipio turns to the officer beside him. He says, the lagoon force. No. 500 men step out of the reeds. The water reaches their thighs. Then their knees. Then their shins. In the last 30 steps of the crossing it is barely at their ankles. They do not cheer. They do not make the sound soldiers make when something goes right. They move. They have been waiting in cold water for 3 hours. They move with the focus of men who have decided not to feel anything until later. The northern bank of Carthago Nova has no walls. It never needed them. The lagoon was the wall. The lagoon has been the wall since the city was built. No one walks across a lagoon. No one has ever walked across this one. It is simply not the kind of thing that happens. It is happening. The defenders on the northern bank see it. They see it before the 500 men are halfway across. They see it and they do what defenders do when something happens that was not supposed to happen. They pull men from the east wall to respond to it. The east wall loses those men. The main assault hits the section they just uncovered. The ladders go up and this time they hold. Nothing follows the plan exactly once it has started. The plan is a shape. The battle is the water that fills it. The water goes where the shape allows. And where the shape does not. In the cracks. The low places. The edges where the plan was not quite complete. Men who have made a plan think about the shape. Men inside the battle deal with the water. His men deal with the water. The first man over the east wall is a soldier from the 7th Legion. A man whose name Scipio learned at a cook fire 3 weeks ago. He does not know this. He does not see who goes first. He is watching the lagoon crossing and the south wall and the harbor simultaneously. He is counting things that cannot all be counted at once. The gate that opens is the south gate. Not the gate he expected. A gate he did not plan for. He planned for the northern bank breach and the east wall section and the harbor. He did not plan for someone inside the city making a decision to open the south gate. Someone inside made that decision. He does not know who. He will find out later and he will learn the name and keep it. The sound inside the walls changes. Scipio hears it from outside. He has heard this sound before. In smaller actions. Cavalry fights along the Ebro. Skirmishes in the hills above the coast. It is not panic. Panic is louder and more ragged. This is the sound of men who have understood something new. The new thing is that the city is no longer what it was an hour ago. They know it. The knowing changes how they move and what they sound like. A gate opens. Scipio does not run. He walks. He has 28,000 men. The city is open. Running changes nothing except how he arrives. He walks through the gate into the city that has never fallen. The street inside smells of smoke and salt water. The particular smell of a city in the first hour after something irreversible has happened. He has never smelled it before. He will smell it again in other cities in other years. He will recognize it each time. He will know each time what it means. He walks toward the center. The streets of Carthago Nova are narrow in the way that old port cities are narrow. Built for people and donkeys and the particular commerce of a harbor, not for armies. 28,000 men do not fit in these streets. The army flows in through the gates and the breach in the east wall. It finds its way by the logic of narrow spaces. Some of it goes left. Some goes right. Some goes where the street goes, which is nowhere in particular, and then somewhere. He has given the order. No killing except in defense. The city's value is in what it contains, not in what the soldiers can take from it. He gave the order clearly. He gave it twice to two different officers in different rooms so that if one forgot the other would remember. Orders about not killing have to be given carefully. He walks through it. The city is in the first hour after it has changed hands. He has been in this hour before in smaller actions. It has a specific quality. The people who were here before Carthage arrived and will be here after it. Not the garrison. The permanent people. They have gone inside. They are behind closed doors waiting to find out what kind of change this is. He passes a doorway. Through the gap he can see a woman. Sitting with her back against the far wall, looking at the door. She sees him. She does not move. He walks past. He passes a courtyard where 3 children are visible on an upper level, looking down. He does not look up. Looking up would make them run. The garrison soldiers he encounters have mostly put down their weapons. A soldier who has put down his weapon in a city that has just fallen has made a calculation. He does not disturb the calculation. He walks past. The Carthaginian garrison is mostly contained by midday. A section of it retreated to the citadel on the hill at the center. There are perhaps 700 men there. They have water and food for a few days. They do not have a way out. He does not assault the citadel. He surrounds it and leaves it. 700 men in a citadel are not the city. The city is the harbor. The silver stores. The warehouses of grain and salted fish and weapons. Everything Carthage has been putting into Hispania for 20 years. He goes to the warehouse district. It is larger than the maps suggested. He walks through the silver stores for a long time. The silver is in ingots stacked on wooden shelving. Floor to ceiling. The way grain is stacked in good years when there is more than room for it. The ingots are marked with Carthaginian stamps. Some of them have marks he recognizes as mine marks from the south. He counts the racks. He does not count the ingots. The ingots are past counting. This is what funded Hannibal. This is what funded 17 years of war. The mines in the south of Hispania fed the treasury of Carthage. The treasury sent Hannibal into Italy with his army and his elephants. His particular genius for the flat ground at Trebia and Trasimene and Cannae. The silver is Rome's now. He does not feel anything specific about this. He notes it. He moves on. He walks through the grain stores. The weapon caches. The rooms he did not know to look for. He finds them anyway. In a port city of this size, the rooms are where the logic of the city puts them. He is methodical. He is methodical because this city will have to be run now, and running it requires knowing what it contains. He will need administrators. He needs to know what he is asking them to administer. He walks through it the way he walked through the camp at the Ebro on the first day. Paying attention. Learning what the maps did not say. The maps never say enough. He has learned this from his father's maps of Hispania, which described the terrain and missed the texture. The texture is where the decisions live. He is walking the texture now. He came around the southern point of the peninsula with the naval squadron. He arrived at the harbor mouth 2 hours into the assault. By then the harbor had nowhere to go. The ships inside tried to put out and found Roman ships waiting. Most of the ships are intact. Laelius looks at the harbor and then at Scipio. He says, "The wind came." Scipio says, "Yes." Laelius is quiet for a moment. He has the face of a man who is deciding whether to say the thing he is thinking. He says, "What would you have done if it hadn't?" Scipio looks at the harbor. 47 ships. All usable. All Carthaginian yesterday and Roman today. He looks at them for a moment. He says, "Sent the lagoon force home at nightfall. Regrouped. Tried the following spring when the tide conditions were better." Laelius looks at him. Scipio says, "I counted the costs either way." Laelius says, "The men would have understood." Scipio says, "Yes. They understand. That is not the same as it being easy." He looks at the harbor again. He says, "But the wind came." Laelius nods. He does not say anything else. He has known Scipio since they were boys and he knows when the conversation has found its end. They stand at the edge of the harbor and watch the last light go off the water. Chapter 5. A Man on the Wall. The city is secure by late afternoon. There are things to be done when a city falls. He gives the orders. Laelius takes the harbor. The senior officers take the streets in sections. The task is not to destroy but to take. Carthago Nova is worth more intact than in pieces. The silver, the stores, the ships. None of those things are worth anything if you burn them. The hostages are the first order. The city holds hostages from every client tribe in Hispania. This has been Carthaginian policy from the beginning. You take a son from the chief, a daughter from the elder. The tribe stays loyal because the alternative is a letter explaining what happened to the hostage. Carthage has been doing this for 20 years. The hostages have been in Carthago Nova for as long as the city has been Carthaginian. Some of them are very young. The hostages are found and brought out. Counted. Given water and food. A place to sit that is not a cell. He tells them they will go home. He says it himself to each group in the order they are brought to him. He uses interpreters for 3 of the languages. For the 4th he manages without. There is a girl from a tribe near the Tagus who is perhaps 14. She does not understand what is happening. She knows the city has changed hands. She does not know what this means for her. She watches him with the face of someone who has learned not to show what she is thinking. He tells the interpreter, "Tell her she will go home." The interpreter tells her. She nods. She does not look relieved. She has been in this city long enough. She knows what men say and what men do are different things. He notes this. He will send her home. He will send all of them home. He has reasons that are not purely generous. A tribe whose children you returned is a tribe that remembers. The Iberian alliance he is building needs a foundation. Returning the hostages is the foundation. He does this for 2 hours. When it is done, a senior officer comes to him with a different problem. There is a woman. Young, not one of the hostages. She was found in the Silver District. She is the daughter of a chief from the interior. She was given to the garrison commander some months ago. She is very beautiful. 3 officers have already said so, which means more officers know about her and have opinions. Scipio listens. He asks, "What does she want?" The officer does not understand the question. He rephrases it as, "Where does she want to go?" "She wants to go home," the officer says. "She has a man she was promised to before the garrison commander." Scipio says, "Find the man. Bring him here if he is in the camp. Send her to him if he is not." The officer looks at him. Scipio says, "And give them money for the journey. From the silver stores. Enough for the journey." The officer goes. This will be told. He knows it will be told. Stories like this spread faster than stories about battles. A commander who returned a beautiful woman to her intended. Who paid for the journey. They spread along the roads and the rivers. In a month the tribes know something about this Roman. Something the maps do not say. He is not doing it for the story. But the story will be useful and he knows it. And then he goes up. The walls of Carthago Nova are wide enough at the top for 2 men to walk side by side. He walks alone. The stone under his feet is warm. It has been in the sun all day. The sun is gone now, but the stone holds it. He walks and the stone gives it back to him through the soles of his sandals. He has been in cold water figuratively all day. The warm stone is a small unexpected thing. The city below is quiet with the quiet of a city in the first hour after it has changed hands. That hour always ends. The noise comes back. Different noise belonging to different people. Men speaking Latin where Punic was spoken this morning. The smell of Roman cook fires replacing whatever the garrison cooked last night. But for this 1 hour the city is between what it was and what it will be. In that space it is quiet. He walks the full perimeter of the walls. It takes longer than he expected. Carthago Nova is bigger from the inside than it looks from the outside. A quality of places that have been organizing their space for many decades. Every harbor city he has ever been in has this quality. The streets are narrow and the buildings lean. The whole thing fits together in a way that seems improvised. It is not. It is the result of many years of the same problems being solved the same way. He looks north. The lagoon is still. The south wind is gone. The water is back to where it was this morning. You would not know looking at it now that anything happened there this afternoon. The reed stands straight. The surface is flat and carrying the last orange of the light. If you did not know what to look for, you would see only a shallow lagoon. On the north side of a city that has never fallen. He stands there for a long time. He thinks about Marcus. About the hand held palm down. Below the knee. Sometimes lower. That was the whole thing. The entire plan rested on a fisherman's hand and a February wind. He held that in his tent for 2 nights. Then he committed 28,000 men to it. The wind came. The hand was right. He does not know what to do with this information about himself. That he can hold that kind of thing. That he slept. The wind came. He is aware that the wind might not have come. He is aware that he was prepared for that version of the day. He had worked out the version where it did not come. The 500 men out of the reeds at nightfall. Cold and defeated. The army regrouping. Going back up the coast. He had made his peace with that version. He had committed to both versions equally as far as that is possible. But the wind came. He looks east. The sea. The light is going the way it goes at this hour. Flat and orange. Without any interest in what has happened on the land today. It fell on the field at Cannae the same way 6 years ago. It falls on everything without choosing. This has always seemed to him like the correct behavior for light. He looks west. Hispania. 3 armies still in the field. Hasdrubal Barca on the Tagus. Hasdrubal son of Gisco in the west. Mago in the south near the Silver Country. They do not know yet what happened here today. A rider will reach the nearest of them tomorrow. By tomorrow the calculation has changed for all 3 of them. They will need to decide what to do. A Roman army just took the city they thought was permanent. He looks at his own hands. They look the same as they did this morning. He does not know why he expected them to look different. The forum steps come back to him. The old man with the Cannae belt mark. Looking at his hands in the early January morning. Scipio had sat next to him for a minute and said nothing. Then he stood and walked to the curia. He spoke in front of men who thought he was not serious. He understands now, he thinks, what the man was looking at. Not the hands themselves. The distance between what the hands had done and what the hands had not been able to stop. He sat with the 2nd Legion at Cannae. The 2nd Legion was in the center. The center held longer than the flanks. The center held while the flanks were gone. Then the flanks circled back and there was nowhere for the center to go. The 2nd Legion held until there was nothing left to hold. Surviving that is its own kind of weight. He has been carrying it since January. He recognized it on the steps because he is carrying a different version of the same thing. Not Cannae. The Ticinus. He survived the Ticinus because he rode back in. His father survived the Ticinus because he rode back in. His father then went back to Hispania and the province killed him anyway. He has been carrying that since Hispania killed his father. This is what he understands about the man's hands. What the hands did is one thing. What the hands could not prevent is another thing. It does not matter how many things the hands did afterward. He has been 24 years old for 4 months. In those 4 months he has taken a command no one else would take. He has marched 28,000 men the length of the eastern coast. He has taken the most important Carthaginian city in Hispania. Using information from a fisherman. A south wind that came at noon and lasted 20 minutes. He does not feel like a man who has done these things. This is not modesty. He knows what he did. He knows exactly what it cost, what it gained, where the plan held and where it did not, how wide the gap was between the two. He knows it the way he knows a map, with precise attention to the space between lines. He does not feel like a man who has done these things. Like a man who has just walked across something he did not believe would hold. Who does not feel like himself for a few minutes afterward. The feeling passes. He knows this. The Senate laughed. He thinks about the sound of it. The quality of it. It was not open. It was not the laugh of men who wondered if they were wrong. It was the laugh of men who had already decided. Laughing at the distance between what they had decided and what this young man appeared to be offering. He understands why they laughed. He was 24 years old. His father had just died in the province he was volunteering to command. His military record was a cavalry skirmish and several years of competent but unremarkable service. He was offering something that did not obviously match what he was. They were not wrong to laugh. They were wrong about the conclusion. He will go back to Rome eventually. Not soon. The province is not clear. 3 armies still in the field. Hispania will take years. The laugh will be a different thing by then. Men remember what comes after. The laugh becomes the beginning of the story. The part that makes the rest possible. The part that lets someone tell it and be believed. In 20 years, some of those men will not remember laughing. They will believe they did not. Memory adjusts what happened to fit what turned out to be true. It is not dishonesty. It is simply how memory works. He does not mind. Stories are useful. He will use this one. The story is still being written. Carthago Nova is the first sentence. Below him, the army makes the sounds of a day that went well. Fires going up. The smell of food. Someone laughing, the real kind. The kind that starts deep in the chest and does not perform anything. The sound carries up through the stone. He stands on the wall and listens to it. Lets it be what it is for a moment. He has been 24 years old for 4 months. He has spent most of those 4 months thinking about a lagoon. The lagoon is behind him now. Still and dark. He thinks about what comes next. The 3 Carthaginian armies know what happened here today. Or they will know by tomorrow morning. Hasdrubal Barca will calculate the distance and the time. He will understand what it means that Carthago Nova fell in a single day. He will recalculate everything he thought he knew about this Roman command. This is the calculation Scipio needs him to make. An army reconsidering its assumptions is a slower army. A slower army is easier to engage on ground of your choosing. But even if he takes all 3 Carthaginian armies in Hispania, even if he clears the province entirely, the war does not end here. It ends in Africa or it does not end. Hannibal is still in Italy. He has been in Italy for 14 years. He won at Trebia. He won at Trasimene. He won at Cannae. He has not taken Rome. He has never been close to taking Rome. What Hannibal understood, and what Rome has not yet fully understood, is that Rome cannot be taken from the outside. It can only be broken from within. He has been trying to break the Italian alliances one by one. Some of them bent. None of them broke. He will not take Rome. But he is still there. And while he is there, the war costs Rome something every season. Men. Grain. Silver. The capacity to think clearly about anything except Hannibal. The way to end this is to make Carthage choose between its city and its general. Go to Africa. Take the war to the ground that feeds Carthage. Make Carthage afraid enough that it recalls Hannibal. Give him a reason to leave Italy stronger than his reason to stay. This is the only sequence that ends the war. Scipio has been thinking about Africa longer than he has been thinking about Carthago Nova. He has not said this to anyone. Not Laelius. Not his mother. Not the officers who trusted him with the lagoon today. If he says it now, the Senate knows within a month. The Senate will have opinions. The opinions will be about a 24-year-old who has taken one city and is already planning to cross the sea. The opinions will be wrong. They will also be loud. Not yet. Hispania first. The 3 armies in the right order. He knows the order. He knows which one to move against first. He has been working through this since Rome, the same way he worked through the lagoon. There is always a sequence. The sequence is the plan. The light is entirely gone. He looks at the lagoon one more time. Still flat. Dark now. The water is back to what it was before. The lagoon does not know what it did today. It simply dropped and came back. It will drop again when the south wind returns in some future February. For some reason that has nothing to do with him. He goes down. He walks back through the city he took today. The streets are quiet now. Different from the quiet of this morning. This morning the city's quiet was its own. The quiet of a city that knew who it belonged to. Tonight the quiet belongs to no one yet. The city is between. In the morning it will begin the work of becoming something else. A man is standing in a doorway. He is not a soldier. He is wearing the kind of clothes that say merchant. Or clerk. Someone whose work is done with a stylus rather than a tool. He watches Scipio pass. He does not bow. He does not speak. He watches the way a man watches something he is still deciding what to think about. Scipio walks past him. At the end of the street, Laelius is waiting. He has not been waiting long. He came down from the harbor. Came through the city on a different street. Arrived at this intersection 3 minutes before Scipio did. This is something he does. He finds where Scipio will be and gets there first. He has been doing this since they were young men. It is a quality that most people never notice and that Scipio has always noticed. He says nothing when Scipio arrives. He falls in beside him. They walk together toward the gate. After a while Laelius says, "The ships." Scipio says, 47. Laelius says, "I counted 52. Scipio says, 5 of them are not seaworthy." Laelius is quiet. Then he says, "How did you know?" Scipio says, "I looked at them from the harbor. The waterline on 3 of them and the rigging on 2. Laelius nods. He is quiet again for a moment. He has known Scipio long enough to know that this is what he does. He counts things. He notices things that are not obvious. He has been doing this since the Ticinus. Since Scipio was 17 and rode back in for his father. Probably before that. Laelius was not there to see before that. He says, "What is next?" Scipio says, "Hasdrubal Barca." He is the largest force. He is also the one who will take longest to understand what happened here today. We move before he finishes understanding it. Laelius says, "When?" Scipio says, "Spring. When the roads are passable." They walk through the gate. Outside is the camp. Fires. The smell of food. The sound of men who did a difficult thing and came out the other side. Laelius says, "The lagoon." Scipio says, "Yes." Laelius says, "I did not think the wind would come." Scipio says, "I know." Laelius says, "I did not say that before." Scipio says, "I know that too." They walk into the camp. Around them the army makes the sounds of a night after a day that went right. Scipio finds his tent. He goes in. Laelius does not follow. He goes to his own tent. This is something they have always done. The end of a day is the end of a day. He sits for a moment with the lamp unlit. He has the city. He has the silver and the ships in the harbor. He has the hostages who are the promise of the alliance he is going to build. He has 3 armies in the field who are now thinking about him differently than they were this morning. He has the sequence. He puts out nothing because there is nothing to put out. He lies down. He will sleep. He always sleeps after a difficult day. The sleep tonight will be a specific kind of sleep. The sleep of a man who found out what he needed to find out about himself. The plan held. The fisherman was right. The wind came when it came. He does not know yet how much depends on what comes next. He will find out. He has been finding out one thing at a time since Cannae. He will keep finding out in the same way. One thing at a time. Until the war is over or he runs out of things to find. The city is dark and quiet outside. He sleeps. Writer's note. I do not read Scipio as a prodigy. I watch him sit next to a man he does not know. The man survived Cannae. There is a belt scar on his side. Scipio does not offer comfort. He does not ask anything. He sits for 1 minute. Then he stands. The Senate laughed when he asked for Hispania. He was 24. He went anyway. I watch what a man carries into a command. Not ambition. Not talent. That 1 minute on the steps. Next time, Africa. The smell arrives before the coast does.